Pope Francis was one of the most recognized and influential spiritual leaders of the 21st century. At the head of the Catholic Church, he became a symbol of tolerance and commitment to those most in need. His figure did not only represent religious leadership, but also a reflection of a profound transformation in the Church and society. His death on April 21, 2025, left an indelible mark on millions of Catholics and many more around the world. In this documentary, we will explore the life, teachings, and impact of Francis, a pontiff who guided millions of Catholics and led a movement for global change, promoting peace, justice, and mercy. Jorge Mario Bergoglio was born on December 17, 1936, in Buenos Aires, Argentina. The son of Italian immigrants, he grew up in a modest environment in the Flores neighborhood. His father, a hard worker, and his mother, a housewife, provided him with a simple childhood, but filled with values such as solidarity and respect. From a very young age, Bergoglio was attracted to religious life. At just 21 years old, he decided to join the Society of Jesus, the order, to follow his priestly calling. During his formative years, Bergoglio studied philosophy and theology, being a priest in 1969. At the seminary, he stood out not only for his profession, but for his commitment to social justice. He was concerned with social problems and the vulnerable situation of the poorer classes. As a young priest, he was always involved in popular pastoral care, caring for impoverished communities, especially during the period of dictatorship in Argentina, which was experiencing a serious human rights crisis. Before being elected pope, Bergoglio ascended to the rank of Archbishop of Buenos Aires, where his closeness to the poor and his firm position on human rights made him a respected figure, both in theosphere and in society in general. His leadership was marked by a pastoral approach centered on inclusion, justice, and commitment to the marginalized. The election of Jorge Mario Bergoglio as Pope Francis came as a surprise to Catholics and the world alike. On March 13, 2013, aged 76, he was chosen as the 266th Pope in the history of the Catholic Church. His election was marked not only by the fact that he was the first Latin American Pope, but also by being the first to occupy the papacy. This milestone brought symbolic renewal to the Church, reflecting the need for profound changes and a greater connection with the reality experienced by faithful around the world. Bergoglio chose the name Francis in honor of Saint Francis of Assisi, known for his simplicity, love of the poor, and nature. This already indicated the direction his papacy would take, a simpler, more humane church focused on serving those in need. His choice of name, Francis, also brought profound reflection on poverty and essential virtues in Christianity. Since his election, Pope Francis has distanced himself from traditional leadership and adopted a style closer to the people. He rejected the opulent traditions of the papacy, choosing to live simply. Pope Francis was the first pontiff to choose to live in Casa Santa Marta, a simpler residence in the Vatican rather than the Apostolic Palace. This gesture symbolized his commitment to a more inclusive church, without the material barriers that, for a long time, separated the Pope from the faithful. Francis's trademark was his belief in mercy and acceptance. His famous phrase, "Who am I to judge?" became a motto of his pontificate, reflecting his contemporary approach, which sought to bring everyone together, including those marginalized by society or by the Church itself, such as homosexuals, divorced people, and immigrants. Furthermore, Pope Francis has always been a constant advocate for the rights of the most vulnerable, such as the poor, refugees, and immigrants. He often advocated a fairer society, asking everyone, in the name of Christianity, to look to those most in need and get involved in concrete actions to help improve the world. In 2015, Pope Francis published the encyclical Laudato Si, a document that has become a world reference on environmental preservation. In the encyclical, Francis made an urgent appeal for humanity to take better care of the planet by combating environmental degradation and global warming. He highlighted the ethical and moral responsibility of the Church and of all people in protecting God's creation and preserving the environment for future generations. In addition, he took a stand against social inequality, criticizing economic structures that perpetuate poverty and marginalization. Francis warned against unbridled greed, consumerism, and exploitation of the poorest, challenging the global capitalist system. He also spoke out strongly against violence, discrimination, and exclusion from any group in society. His pontificate was also marked by an ongoing effort to promote interdialogue, working actively to establish a more peaceful and respectful coexistence between different religions. While widely respected, Pope Francis also faced challenges and criticism, both within the Church and abroad. His progressive approach, especially on issues such as sexual morality, the role of women in the Church, and acceptance of LGBTQ+ people, drew resistance from conservative sectors of the Church. These groups often their positions as being overly flexible and distant from Church tradition. One of the biggest challenges facing Francis was the scandal of sexual abuse committed by members of the. While he made significant efforts to combat this problem and offer support to victims, many believed that the reforms were not deep or swift enough. In addition, the Pope had to deal with the internal divisions of the Church, trying to reconcile the needs for change with respect for traditions. Pope Francis's legacy is forming before our eyes. His efforts to make the Church closer to the faithful and more open to social issues have been widely recognized. He showed the world that the Catholic Church can be a force for good, an agent of social and spiritual change. His message of mercy, peace, and justice continues to inspire people around the world. Pope Francis is also shaping a church that is more inclusive and open to dialogue. His work in the environmental, social, and interfaith fields has contributed to a new understanding of the Church's role in the modern world. While there are still challenges to be faced, Francis made it clear that his mission would be to continue to work for unity, peace, and justice. On April 21, 2025, the world was taken by surprise by the news of the death of Pope Francis. His departure marks the end of an era of profound transformations within the Catholic Church and also a global reflection on the legacy he leaves behind. The death of Francis, who died at the age of 88, is a moment of mourning, but also of celebration of his life of service and commitment to those most in need. His contributions, especially in promoting a more inclusive church, defending human rights, and fighting social injustice, are a testament to the lasting impact of his pontificate. Pope Francis was a man who led the Catholic Church into a more inclusive and compassionate future. His life was a witness of faith, service, and commitment to those most in need. He proved that the papacy could be more than a position of power. It could be an instrument of change and true love for others. His legacy will be remembered as a milestone in church history, with profound and lasting impacts, both in the religious field and in global society. May your memory continue to inspire us all, reminding us of the importance of living with mercy, justice, and compassion. If you feel inspired by the actions and teachings of Pope Francis, if you want to see more videos like this one, and if you want to know more about how your words can impact your life, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Share this video with your friends and family to spread Francis's message of love, mercy, and compassion to the world. Join us on this journey of reflection and action, and together we will build a fairer and more supportive future. Leave your comment below. We count on your opinion.